right, welcome in. I'm the Kodiak, and once again, I am doing a recap of the Broncos versus Raiders game, 29-19 final score. Happy with the result, that's for sure. And I just want to say, leave a like if you enjoy it, subscribe if you're not already. We're going to be talking about the Broncos all season long and all off season long. Drop a comment, let me know what you thought of our performance today. Let's dive right into it. So, when I was previewing the game, I predicted that this would be a one-score game because, honestly, this is the way I thought the game would go. I thought the Raiders would come to play. I thought, the Broncos, they don't have it in them to steamroll a division rival on the road yet. And I was kind of spot on. But, number one, Courtland Sutton. I remember seeing all the trade rumors this offseason. I remember seeing, everybody be like, okay, since we are a rebuilding team, we need to liquidate him, and he must be kept until the end of 2025 at very, very minimum, because with a bunch of Raiders defensive backs, being injured and a lot of them just being, inexperienced in general, Courtland Sutton was able to use his experience and just get the better of him, and simply that's just what happened today. Courtland Sutton had a phenomenal performance, and I'm really happy with 8 receptions, 97 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That ultimately was the difference today, in my opinion. And he was the only proven NFL veteran at our disposal right now. I'm talking about our skill position weapons, and his experience, it just means too much to this team. It means too much to this offense. It means too much to a rookie quarterback who's still, trying to learn the ropes in the NFL, even though he's playing at a very, very high level. But even if, people were talking in the offseason about trade to Pittsburgh, where we got like a 3rd-round pick or whatever, and, there was supposed to be an Ayuk to the Steelers deal, but the Broncos didn't want to give up Sutton for like a 3rd. Listen, it just doesn't – I don't think it makes sense, because 2 years of Courtland Sutton, in my opinion, means more to our team than a random 3rd. Now, even if it's a value win and you're getting out on a player who is going to probably be worth nothing in 3 to 4 years as he slows down and, his body doesn't keep up with being jump ball X receiver, contested catch guy, even if his 32, 33-year-old self is not able to do that very well, a random 3rd-round pick, I'm going to keep with Courtland Sutton for the next 2 years. Now, granted, you could always argue, you could draft a hit there. Sure, but listen, the emergence of Bailey and a probable day 1, at least early day 2 wide receiver next year, that doesn't make him expendable. Even if they get a guy, even if they trade for a dude, even if they sign, T. Higgins or whoever, even if any of that happens, Sutton still needs to be on this team. I see no more arguments as to why he should not be on this roster, at least until the end of 2025. Maybe 2026, we'll see where things are looking, but at the end of the day, he is a Bronco for a reason. He is a captain for a reason, perennial team captain. He is a Bronco at heart. He's basically the offensive version of Justin Simmons, even though Justin was better at safety than Krull is at wide receiver, but still. This guy, we need him. We need him to be a part of this team going forward, at least for the foreseeable future. Now, number 2, the offensive execution just wasn't there on early downs. Now, in the first half in particular, I'm really talking about the lack of execution, because the difference was in the second half, we converted on our 3rd downs, and that's what was really able to propel us and, be able to send us over the top. Now, we had too many holding penalties in the first half. McGlinchey had 2, I think, on the same drive, which really sucked because they both knocked out nice runs by Jaleel McLaughlin and kind of backed us up and put us in 2nd and 20, which is kind of insurmountable territory, at least when the defense of the Raiders is playing as hard as they are. This is one thing I did not like. Too many negative runs, too many plays where it was 1st and 10, and then we got ourselves into 2nd and 11, 2nd and 13. We could not run our way out of a wet paper bag today. And every 3rd down was 3rd and long. I remember very, very few instances where we had 3rd and short. I remember we had a 3rd and 2 that we converted on. Even a 3rd and 5, I remember we had, but other than that, it felt like everything was 3rd and 9, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 14, and it's just really hard to execute at a high level. Now, we had gotten really lucky over the past few weeks with Bo Nix having a 1 EPA, nearly our 0.1 EPA on 3rd downs, which is absolutely absurd. Actually, I can't remember what the exact stat was. Maybe it was like 0.78 EPA per play on 3rd downs, 3rd, 4th downs, which that's basically automatic as it gets. But this run game was absolutely horrific at certain points, and that was a big part of why we couldn't execute on early downs. I just really want us to be able to execute better against all-out blitzes. I don't really know why teams are going away from that. I think it's because we run so many screens and that. But if I was a defensive coordinator going up against this Broncos team, I would blitz the daylights out of Bo Nix, and I would just try to see what we could get, because ultimately, since it is still a young team, since it is still a young offense, we don't have the ability to combat that at a consistently high level yet. Now, I would figure that it would be this way because the Raiders always play us hard, but the offense, they stepped up in the second half. So ultimately, it just, yeah, I don't know. I didn't mind the end of the game play calling. I didn't, just because we could not run our way out of a wet paper bag. And when Bo Nix had been cooking as much as he was, I'm fine with, letting it rip. But ultimately, the execution just wasn't there. The execution was kind of really hit or miss today, so yeah. Lesson number 3, way too much Javonte Williams. Way too much Javonte Williams. And if you're going to ride the hot hand on offense, you got to follow through with that. But not only did not any running back have the hot hand, besides Jaleel McLaughlin, who ended up getting hurt, so that kind of took that element away. But Javonte Williams just was not working today. I don't know why you kept giving him the chance to just get absolutely stuffed, why you gave him the chance to, get 1 yard on 1st and 10 and make it 2nd and 9. Jaleel McLaughlin was the only running back who was actually working today. And my question is, why don't you use more Audric Estime? Why don't you use more Audric Estime? Maybe it's something with like a tell on defense. Maybe Sean Payton just doesn't want to, give away the fact that they are passing the ball, and he just wants to use Javonte because he is the best pass catching and best pass blocking running back, probably one of the best pass blocking running backs in the NFL. And when you have a guy like Max Crosby and a team that's blitzing a lot, yeah, sure. You could keep Javonte Williams in, but why not at least try Estime at least a handful of times, man? Today, we've had Javonte weeks, we've had non-Javonte weeks, but they played him like it was a Javonte week, and it was not. The Broncos coaching staff just kept going back to him and kept going back to him, and I was like losing my mind at the fact that they were just giving so much opportunity to Javonte Williams. It just wasn't his day. And I still want him to get re-signed. I still think he comes back next year. But the Broncos, they need to be more efficient in 2025. This is a Raiders defensive line that did not have Malcolm Kuntz. This is a Raiders defensive line that does not have Christian Wilkins for the rest of the year. And ultimately, I did not like the execution today. I thought if they were able to run the ball, then it would have been a lot easier on themselves. They would have made it way, way, way easier on themselves, especially going into like 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. Whatever, but ultimately, this was a big, big reason why we were so backed up. I promise, these will get positive. The next one was positive, but yeah, you could say I have 3 negative lessons and 2 positive lessons to take away today, but lesson number 4, special teams was not good today. Now, I'm kind of leaving Will Lutz and the fact that he went 5 for 5 on his field goal attempts out of this, just because, that's kind of whatever. Now, granted, 2 of those were really, really long, so Lutz is exempt from this. Lutz is exempt from the special teams not being good today. I don't remember Dixon punting much, but I think he did great either way. Either way, even worse that this was at the hands of Tom McMahon. Okay, kick return by Dylan Labe, not what you want. Not what you want. Gave the Raiders a short field for a touchdown drive, gave them a lot of momentum, swung in their favor, and, it's a lot easier to score a touchdown when you only have to go 50 yards instead of the usual 70. So it gave the Raiders a short field for what was their only touchdown drive of the game. And, good punt by A.J. Cole. Oh, well, it happens. Yeah, I can't really be too mad about that one. But the fake punt pass, not good. Not good. And it gave the Raiders a huge drive extension, kept the ball out of Bo Nix's hands, which is something we did not want to do today. And this is the second time in the past 3 games where the special teams coaching staff, okay, they must see what's going on. They must reflect. And this is a point where you could really use Mike Westhoff in the building. Now, Ben Kotwika, I expect him to get it right because, ultimately sometimes you just have lapses. Sometimes you just have lapses. And I'm not going to say that I don't expect Kotwika to figure this out because he is one of the best in the game. He's proven it going back to last season that he is one of the best special teams coordinators in the game. So I expect him to get better. I expect him to get better. I expect him to have the Broncos special teams, particularly their kickoff coverage and their punt return unit, expecting this next time, and hopefully it gets way better, and I expect it to. I think it will. So yeah, this is one where I'm just like, okay, not good today, but you know what? Just forget about it. Throw the tape in the trash. You ended up winning the game, And had they not won the game, I think that this would have been a lot bigger of a talking point because I did not like, those two plays in particular. I did not like that kick return, did not like that fake punt pass. But such is life. It's going to happen when you go on the road to a team where their new $2 billion stadium has been an absolute house of horrors for you. And I had been to Allegiant Stadium last year, and I walked out of the Broncos-Raiders game in Week 18 knowing, okay, this is best for the future that we lost because it allowed us to jump in the draft order, and we drafted Bo Nix. So, yeah, this is one where I'm just like, okay, just throw the tape in the trash, forget about it, move on, focus on Cleveland. Lesson number 5, defense closed out the game in their first chance of the year to do so. So the first half was a little shaky while the offense and the special teams were still figuring things out. They were still, trying to match the intensity of the Raiders, but the defense really cranked it up in the second half of this game. The Brandon Jones interception forced by Jonathon Cooper, that was the difference. It led to a touchdown from the Broncos. It led to the first Bo Nix to Courtland Sutton pass, and also for a touchdown. And also that strip sack on Desmond Ridder was also another difference maker that I didn't have in my notes because it was 26-19. It was a one-score game at that point. And ultimately, you shut the door on the Raiders' chances of a comeback. Did not really care that much that that they had first and goal from the 1 with like 15 seconds left. Good on Jonah Ellis for, kind of giving us that walk-off sack there. But the Raiders' offense, they became very ineffective in the second half. The Broncos got really, really big third down stops. And hey, Brock Bowers, 4 of 10, 4 receptions on 10 targets for 38 yards. Give it up for Vance Joseph for figuring out how to scheme for that. Give it up to, the defense for figuring out how to play without Zach Allen. And, yeah, overall, that just does it for me. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.